Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you.
Good morning. You are listening to KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQD 90.7 FM, streaming live at ksqd.org. I am Catherine Bell, and this is the Dream Journal, a weekly show where we explore the healing powers of your nighttime dreams through conversations with dream experts and with you. In the words of Carl Jung, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. We are speaking today with Laura Suzanne about her method of decoding dreams. We'll learn about her simple formula that she uses on her own dreams as well as with her clients. Are you often baffled by your dreams? Well, welcome to the club. Stay tuned and we'll share some ideas about how to take your dreams from confusing to revealing. This is Catherine Bell of Experiential Dreamwork, and welcome to the Dream Journal. I'd like to remind you that the views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily represent those of Natural Bridges Media or of KSQD's staff, volunteers, or underwriters. The Dream Journal is also a podcast, which is great in case you missed part of the show or if you'd like to binge a listen to get your dream on. Look for the Dream Journal on all your major podcast platforms, and to help other people find the show, you could review it, subscribe, and definitely tell your friends about the Dream Journal. I'm starting today with a sense of anxiety. That's what I'm just going to say. I'm really present to you right now. Just something in my belly feels anxious, and it's been a few days now, and I found out it's Mercury retrograde, so who knows, but there's something going on for me. I've had a couple dreams lately about my old job at NASA. Many of you know I was a NASA civil servant for about 11 years over in Mountain View, and I left, and since then I have become a dream worker. So I left in 2004. It's been 16 years. And so why am I dreaming about NASA right now? I don't entirely know. In one of my dreams, I am nervously telling my supervisor about my dream work, about the work I do with people's dreams. And I'm getting the impression this is not going over too well. Like, this is not the part of the NASA mission. And I realize I'm going to get fired. And I have this image of this huge wave crashing over my head, but before it can hit, it dissolves into a million colorful bubbles, like droplets. And I realize, oh, thank goodness, now I don't have to go to NASA anymore. So there's relief mixed in there. So where am I feeling the anxious in my belly? I don't know. It helps to talk about it, though, so bring me present here into this moment. And we will go deeper into some of these confusing dreams with Laura Suzanne. I am inviting call-ins during the last segment of the show, so please get your questions ready and queue up your phone to 831-900-5773. That's 900-KSQD. And in case you were really eager to talk about a dream, I want to let you know in advance that next week, July 4th, on Independence Day, will be a call-in only show. So free yourself and give a call next week. Today, you can also call in about half an hour. I'd love to hear about one of your dreams, or you could ask a question in that number. So you can jot it down. It's 831-900-5773. So welcome, Laura.
Hello.
Hi, good to have you.
Good to be here.
Okay. So certified dream guide, Laura Suzanne is the author of a 3-part book series called In Your Dreams, which is based on a newspaper column that she wrote for Las Vegas Weekly. Real dreams from actual readers are featured in the books. Your dreams of sex, love, and romance, and what they mean. Decoding your dreams of money, luck, and success. And her personal favorite, Welcome to Your Nightmares. Laura has also created a guided dream journal that breaks down and decodes even the most complex or bizarre dreams using a simple formula, which is available as a free PDF. Laura is the admin and founder of a very active Facebook group called Dream Enthusiasts, which boasts over 600 members. Laura currently lives in Las Vegas, Nevada, and when she isn't doing Dreamwork, she is tending to her pride of cats. So, welcome again, Laura. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
I wonder if you could start off by telling us a little bit about how you first got inspired to investigate dreams. What called to you about dreams?
Well, ever since I was a child, I was always fascinated by dreams. My own dreams and other people's dreams. That was my favorite subject.
Mm-hmm.
I did go to San Diego State University and major in psychology, and there were maybe a few chapters on dreams, and that was kind of disappointing. So after I graduated, I began studying everything metaphysical that interested me, and I got certified in Dreamwork. And then I wanted to know more about the subconscious mind, so I became a certified clinical hypnotherapist.
Were there certain dreams that led you to this, to make this leap into Dreamwork?
It had been a lifelong love of mine. Ever since I was little, dreams just fascinated me. And I would have a lot of precognitive dreams. I would dream about people that I'd never met, shared dreams, lucid dreams. I knew even as a small child how important dreams were. I didn't know why they were important, but I knew that they were. And then as I began to study deeper into the dream world, that what they could really do for you.
So what are some of the most profound experiences that you've had with your own dreams?
Oh my goodness. I could go on forever about this, but it's only an hour show. Everything from the simple to the complex. I saw in a dream which phone to buy. I was deciding between the iPhone and the Android, and I had a dream that I was in the T-Mobile store, and I was asking a woman about the S8 and the S8 Plus, and she said, "Oh, you won't like the S8 Plus. Get the S8." And that's what I bought. I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go back with an ex-boyfriend or be with the current one, and I saw in a dream that who I should be with. So there's been just so many examples of how the dreams can solve big questions and small.
Right. So those are like really clear kind of indications from the dreams that of choose A versus B, but most dreams are a lot more subtle than that and a lot more confusing.
A lot of them are. Probably one of the best dreams that I ever had was the parachute dream. I have never skydived before. I've always wanted to. And I had a dream that I jumped out of an airplane, wasn't doing a tandem jump. I jumped by myself. I saw that I was going to crash into the mountains, so I kind of pulled on my parachute, bypassed the mountains. I didn't want to land in the water, but I saw that there was no way to avoid landing in the water. So I knew instinctively how to avoid the sharks.
Shark, huh?
I landed in the water, and my parachute went behind me, and it fanned out smoothly. My hair didn't get messed up, so it didn't splash when I hit the water. It was such a smooth landing. And you would think that I had been skydiving my whole life. I just knew what to do. So it was such an exhilarating dream. I took that to mean it was a metaphor for life. You've got this. You can try new things. You don't have to know exactly what you're doing, but just go for it. When the doors of the plane opened, I didn't hesitate. I didn't look down. I took a running jump and just leaped.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah.
My dreaming self always knows what to do. I've never had to Google anything in a dream.
Right. Exactly. That's interesting. Yeah. Right. But then, so you're talking about like as a metaphor for life. Maybe now's a good time to go right into your formula. Like, how do you recommend that people unravel their dreams? Like, what is it that you have found to be most helpful?
Breaking it down. I have the guided dream journal.
Yep.
And it's on PDF. People can print out as many copies as they want. They can share it with anyone. They can use it every day if they like. That would be a good way to reinforce the habit of writing your dreams down and will definitely improve your recall. Mm-hmm. What I did was I started out with a sample dream, and then give it a date, give the dream a title. Mm-hmm. That makes it very easy to reference and remember. And then list the characters. Identify all of them, known or unknown. And then we go into the dream content. Mm-hmm. Anything that you can remember about the dream, big or small. And even if it seems insignificant, like a parking lot or a fly on the wall, if it shows up in your dream, it's important.
Right.
So include everything in the dream. Then, what is the action? What's happening in the dream? And this is very important. Take note, are you the active participant or the passive observer in the dream?
Ah.
Are you sitting back and just watching it play out like a movie, or are you the one running, chasing, jumping? I have found that is very, very important to note my role in the dream.
Huh.
And sometimes that can even change throughout the dream. You can start out as one and
right.
shift to the other.
Absolutely.
Then look at the emotion or feeling. How did you feel? What was the vibe? What was the tone of the dream? Mm-hmm. And this part is really important. Take note, did it change upon waking? Do you feel relieved that it was just a dream and not real life? Or are you disappointed that it wasn't real?
Mm.
This is very telling. This can serve as a compass for whether you're on track or off track in your daily life by how you feel. Who doesn't want to win the lottery?
Right.
But those can be like wish-fulfilling dreams. But if you're feeling really relieved that this isn't true, this isn't real, then maybe there's some place in your life where maybe you're doing things you shouldn't and you should stop. Or if you're really disappointed, like, oh, I wish that was real, then maybe there's something that you're missing that you need to cultivate more in your waking life. And your dream can really pinpoint the hidden desires.
Right. Well, I had a dream where I was feeling really connected to the supportive man, and I felt like I was a child, and I felt really loved. And when I woke up, I actually felt angry because I was angry because I didn't feel that way in waking life. And that feeling in the dream seemed like it was kind of taunting me, and it was, but I felt angry, even though I had this beautiful dream of feeling loved and supported.
And see, yes, that is very telling. That's telling you something. Mm. So the next step would be the conclusion. Write a summary. Mm-hmm. Tie it all together. Give it your own meaning. What was the message? What did you come up with? And that is my process for any dream.
Right. So it seems like there must be a fair amount of intuition involved, because it's not obvious to me. Like, well, here, maybe give some examples. Like, for example, of like the passive versus active. Like if I'm watching the dream from a distance versus really integrating with the dream, what might that indicate?
Well, it could indicate the role you're taking in your life. Are you feeling that you are the one who is writing the script of your life, or does life happen to you?
Okay.
And that can change throughout the dream. You can be in the driver's seat in part of the dream, or you could be in the back seat or the passenger seat.
Right.
It's really important to know where you are in the dream.
Right. But now sometimes I've had the situation of being in the passenger seat, but it feels like a good thing because like there's surrender, like the person driving is somebody I really love or trust, and that there's a way that I can be over controlling. And so sometimes being in the passenger seat can be a bad thing if I'm out of control, or it could be a good thing if I'm surrendering that control.
Yes, and it's very important to take note of how you're feeling during the dream and upon wakening, and then even a few days later, a few weeks later.
Right.
I like to do quarterly dream summaries, just noticing what and who shows up the most in my dream. And dream interpretation is rarely one size fits all. Everybody's so different.
Exactly.
So paying attention to what your dream means to you. Absolutely.
Right. So you notice evolution in your dreams? Like when you do your quarterly summaries, you can compare to the previous quarter, that sort of thing?
I don't know about evolution so much as just patterns, things changing. Like there was a time where I was dreaming a lot about elements, fires, floods, tsunamis. Then it seemed like I went through a phase where I was dreaming a lot about buildings and structures or animals. So it just correlates to what's going on in my life. But it's different for everybody, of course.
Right. Okay. So it sounds like that sort of applying the dream to like how could this be applying to our waking life? Is that part of your formula there?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
And when you go into the conclusion and determining whether you're the active or passive participant in the dream or observer, just tying it all together. And the goal is for each dreamer to get their own meaning, because we all have different symbology.
Right. Absolutely. And that's one thing I feel very strongly about, that it's really the dreamer's dream. And that we can't tell somebody, well, we shouldn't. It's a violation to tell somebody, your dream means X, Y, Z. And so it's important to me to always to try to keep it in the terms of a question. Like, could it be this? And then the dreamer gets to say yes or no, rather than defining what that dream means. Because it is the dreamer's dream, and it's all about what is important to them and what it means to the dreamer.
Absolutely, Catherine.
Yeah.
And depending on your personal symbology, for example, snakes. Do you love them? Do you have them as pets, or are you deathly afraid of them? Or roses. Those could be thought of as a gift or a reward for a beauty pageant contestant. But if you're a gardener, then it's work.
Right, covered with thorns too.
Exactly. See, so they're very subjective, depending on what part of the world you're from, what religion you're from, what gender you're from. You are. I mean, so many different variables.
Right. So there seems like there's a lot of intuition and trusting your own intuition as you go through this dream. Like the thing about letting go of NASA, for me, maybe there's something that I really am totally letting go of there in a way that 16 years ago I wasn't ready to do yet. I was even in one of my dreams taking my nameplates down and putting them in my pocket and bringing them home. So no more names on the door at NASA. It's like that's part of my life. And so I'm wearing a NASA t-shirt today to honor that dream, because I really think it's important to honor a dream in waking life.
Wow. So what about the bubbles? When I was listening to your dream, the bubbles really stood out to me.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the wave is a terrifying thing. I've done a little bit of surfing, and water is really heavy. And when a wave lands on your head, it's terrifying. So So it was interesting in the dream. I pictured this wave coming to land on me, and it was not, and it dissolved into bubbles. So there was something about it wasn't as traumatic as I had feared it would be to leave behind NASA. In the dream, it was a relief. In fact, I remember the last line in the dream is, "Thank God I don't have to go back to that horrible place anymore," because there was a way it kind of became horrible for me near the end of my time at NASA. It was just gray corridors and nothing really exciting. So I was ready to leave, but 16 years later, apparently I'm still leaving.
That's great.
Well, we're going to take a short break and let you know this is the Dream Journal. We are here with Laura Suzanne, and this is K-Squid 90.7 FM, Community Radio of Santa Cruz. I am your host, Catherine Bell. In about 20 minutes, I'm going to open the phones, so you can call in to 831-900-5773. That's actually only in about 15 minutes. That's 900-KSQD. You can share a dream you're curious about or ask a question.
So baby, dry your eyes, save all the tears you've cried. Oh, that's what dreams are made of. Oh, baby, we belong in a world that must be strong. Oh, that's what dreams are made of.
You're listening to the Dream Journal on K-Squid 90.7 FM, and we are here live with Laura Suzanne. Welcome back, Laura.
Hello.
Hey, so I understand that you've written 3 books based on the newspaper articles that you did where you responded to readers' dreams. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about those books.
Absolutely. I had that column for a few years, and I saved them all and turned them into the 3-part book series. And one is the first one is Your Dreams of Sex, Love, Romance, and What They Mean. The second is Decoding Your Dreams of Money, Luck, and Success. And the third, my personal favorite, is Welcome to Your Nightmares. So I've covered so much. I've talked about celebrity dreams, money, success, and then I went into even some of the science part, nightmares versus night terrors and the like. So they're pretty inclusive.
Well, tell me about money and success. I mean, does it mean if you dream about finding a bunch of money that you're going to find a bunch of money, or what do you have anything you can say about that?
Oh, absolutely. I took each topic and with money, luck, and success, and I took the actual columns, the write-ins from the readers, and put those, the question that they had, Dear Laura, what does it mean if I dream this? Mm-hmm. And so I think when you dream about money, it's very important to notice how the money appears in the dream. Is it crumpled up on the floor? Is it presented in an attractive way? On a silver platter? Is it something that you feel good about receiving it? Are you trying to hide it? Is it ill-gotten? I mean, there's so many factors to that.
And so what does it mean if it's crumpled up or ill-gotten? Like, what does that suggest?
Well, I would think finding a crumpled up $100 bill in the corner might not have the same feeling, positive association, as, say, finding a big box of money or finding it in a pretty jeweled treasure chest. The presentation is important. I mean, what would you rather find?
Well, it's true. It's true. So is there some suggestion if it's crumpled up that it's but money isn't always money, I would imagine. A lot of times it has to do with energy or...
Absolutely, yes. So what denominations the money is in? Are the bills face up? Are they face down? Are there coins? Is the money torn and tattered, dirty? Does it look good? I mean, all of those things would be representative of how our subconscious misuse money? And are you wanting to, when you win the lottery, do you want to shout it from the rooftops, or do you want to go disappear to an island somewhere? So just a lot of our thoughts and feelings around money, our relationship with money.
Right, right.
So there were different questions. Like, I believe one reader wrote in something about clogged toilets means you're going to find money, and, superstition, the money, luck, and success, the four-leaf clover, the leprechaun, all of that. So, but again, and I'm always going back to the dream belongs to the dreamer, and your individual symbology and belief determines the meaning of your dream. Right,
right. But, we also have these blind spots that it's often difficult to figure out what's going on from our own perspective, because we've that's the way we look at things. And so, that's why it can be helpful to get an outside perspective. At least I find I have a regular appointment with my dream coach every 3 weeks and give them, these are my dreams. And it's, even if I have been working with my personal dream, I find it's really helpful to get an outside perspective, because I might think, oh, that's just the way money is. That's how it is. And he might point out, oh, but actually, look, it's kind of crumpled. What is that to you? Like, it's interesting, like my thing about taking down the nameplates from the door at NASA. I feel kind of surreptitious about it, even though at the time I'm aware I don't work there anymore. But there's something like, am I being sneaky here? There's something. And it's hard for me to decode what that's all about from my own perspective.
Oh, you are preaching to the choir about working with a dream coach in dream groups. Montague Ullman is one of my role models and idols. He left his practice to go to Sweden and study dreams there with and facilitate dream groups. He felt that so strongly, the power of working with a group. And one of his quotes that's my favorite is, where else can you find 8 to 10 people willing to bare their soul other than a dream group? Yeah,
you really do get down deep really fast when you start talking about dreams.
And 8 heads are better than one.
Right. Now it's interesting. Montague Ullman is not as well known as Jeremy Taylor, who took a lot of his ideas or developed a lot of his ideas. Jeremy Taylor developed Montague Ullman's ideas, and then kind of popularized it. Like, Jeremy Taylor wrote several very popular books about forming dream groups, and I call him the Johnny Appleseed of dream groups, and I've based my original dream group on Jeremy Taylor's methods. And yet I've heard people say that Montague Ullman had a different approach, or he had more layers to work with than Jeremy Taylor. I wonder if are you familiar with those distinctions? Did you work with Ullman, or you've studied his work?
I didn't work with him. He had passed away by the time I discovered him, but I was taking an IDS course, and I did a paper and presentation on him. Mm-hmm. And I also got to meet Dr. Stanley Krippner at the IASD convention.
Right. So, well, you and I met 2 years ago at Scottsdale at the IASD convention. There.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So I've read his books, and I just really, I don't follow his steps quite as strictly to the letter, but I really do think the If It Were My Dream is important. And I do a lot of my own solo dream work, but I have the group on Facebook, Dream Enthusiasts, mm-hmm. and I will share my own dreams, and I get a lot of insight that way. And I do like to vacillate between the student and teacher.
Yeah.
And I will participate in a class that somebody else is teaching or hosting at least a couple of times a year, just because I feel there's always more to learn.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, there are some dream people who consider themselves strictly teachers, and they don't share their own dreams. They feel but I feel like it's, for myself, it's important for me to reveal who I am, and when I'm sharing other people's dreams, it feels a little bit like stealing their dreams. So I will only rarely share someone else's dreams, but I tend to draw examples of my own experiences in dreams and how they've affected me, because that's something that really can be powerful for me. And that's I know that not everybody does that, but I feel like sharing my personal work is an important part about how I model working with dreams and being vulnerable, because our society does not encourage vulnerability, and yet Dreamwork really shows us the power and the potency that's available when we do surrender that control and let ourselves be vulnerable. And it has to be a good container, a container where I feel like I'm not going to be shamed or ridiculed for my dreams, where people are interested and supported. And I now have 3 ongoing dream groups, and it's just some of my closest friends are in these groups because they've really evolved into friends by being in these groups. Because there's a wonderful supportive community that's set up with a group.
It is so important to have a supportive community. And what you were saying about sharing your own work, well, that was what Dr. Ullman was about. He felt that it was very important for everybody to be on the same level. That's why he stopped being a therapist, a psychoanalyst, and started doing the dream work, because he felt people would share more openly if he wasn't in that position of authority.
Right. Yeah, there's something about authority that can be, there's something about this moment here with the Black Lives Matters protests and the police brutality going on that resonates with me about authority, and that just being in a position of authority, it doesn't matter the character of the person. If you are put in authority, then you take a certain perspective relating to the people that you feel like you have authority over. Some famous experiments, I think they're called the Milgram experiments, where took 2 ordinary people off the streets and put one, or maybe this is what I'm thinking of is the Stanford prison experiment, where they took a group of people and they split them artificially into guards and inmates, and then within a few days, they had to stop the experiment because the guards were being abusive to the quote-unquote guards were being abusive to the quote-unquote inmates, even though everybody knew this was totally artificial situation, that the people who were put in authority started to be abusive towards those who were not. So that's, why I'm finally starting to understand what people mean by defund the police, is that the police is set up as a system of authority, and maybe we need to decrease but not eliminate that branch and set up instead more helping branches where people come into a situation and are there to help, and rather than to be in charge. So there's something been much on my mind with the protests going on, and even as the protests are not as strong as they were a few weeks ago, it really has caused a change in my thinking about what it means to be an authority. And as I am a teacher as well, I want to be cognizant of that in the classes that I teach and in the groups that I lead, that I'm not falling into that position of feeling like I know something that other people don't. Like, I've had experiences that other people haven't had, but I have not been inside their heads. I don't know what their dreams are like for them. So I want to come from a place of more of a social worker than a guard.
That's what you're being called to do, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really changed my thinking about that in my own role as a teacher and a leader in some kind of a way, that I'm really wanting to be more in the cooperative mode.
I hear that.
Yeah. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I want to talk about your Facebook group called the Dream Enthusiasts. This is Laura Suzanne. It's an amazing group. A ton of conversation about dreams goes on. So like I said, on Facebook. And now the phones are open. We have one line open today. Max is standing by to take your call. The number is 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD. So if there is somebody on the phone, then you'll know you'll have to wait to call back. But our call-in line is now open. So give us a call. We'd love to hear about a dream you have or any ideas that you'd like to share. So this is the Dream Journal, and we are here live with Laura Suzanne. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so tell me about this Facebook group, the Dream Enthusiasts.
Oh, it was the best decision that I ever made. I didn't know what I was doing. Somebody that designed an ad for me said, "Oh, you need to have a Facebook group." I said, "Well, why? I already have a website and a Facebook page." She said, "Trust me on this one." So I started it, and it just grew from there. I've got over 600 members, people from all over the world, and people that I look up to have joined my group. We talk about dreams. We post articles, book reviews, research findings, dream art. It's wonderful. I feel like this is my tribe.
Mm-hmm. It is a very active group. You must have, how many posts a day on average? I mean, it probably varies, but...
Oh, quite a few. And what's great is if I need to, I can set it and forget it. If I go out of town for the weekend, I can come back and people are engaging without me. That's wonderful. And I love that there's so much engagement, and a lot of people have said that that's their favorite page. They can't wait to jump on there in the morning and see what people posted, and how much engagement working with each other's dreams and the friendships that have come from that group is beyond my expectations.
Right. It's very respectful, too. I noticed the comments that people make to each other. You have clear guidelines, and people do obey the guidelines because they respect that the purpose behind the guidelines is to make sure everybody feels welcome.
Yes, and I make sure every time that there's new members that I remind them that of the guidelines and to be respectful, and you can have a healthy debate or disagree without showing disrespect. And I wanted the group to be a safe haven where people can bare their souls and not have to feel like they need to edit themselves or fear that they're going to be attacked in any way.
Right. I really enjoy the page, and I share my my social media ads to the Dream Enthusiasts, and people seem to be receptive to that, since I would love to spread the gospel about dreams the way. I said it again. That's hilarious. So one of my guests said recently, just last week, I think, I heard you talk about spreading the gospel, and I'm like, did I really say that? Well, apparently I did, because I just said it again.
Well, that's what we're there for. And anytime, and I always encourage people to share their stuff. People say, well, why do you let other people advertise in your group? And I say, because I'm only one person, and there's people all over the world. So share your stuff, your events, your art, your books, so they can see that it's not just my stuff, it's everybody's. And I want people to be proud of their accomplishments.
Right.
So I'm glad that you're having a good experience with that.
I am, right. And it's a real resource, that page, the Dream Enthusiasts. It's a group, not a page, right? So Dream Enthusiasts.
Yeah, it's a group. Yeah, it's people interact. They share all kinds of things. And we have everybody from the scientists to kind of more the metaphysical people. So it's a good balance. And from all over the world, too, which is great.
Right. Well, you don't have to worry about time zones when you're on Facebook, that's for sure.
Exactly. So I do have a couple of quotes I'd like to share with you, if that's okay.
Sure. Let me just make another call in case anybody wants to call in and didn't quite get the phone number. The number is 831-900-5773. You're welcome to call if you have a dream to share or a question for me or for Laura Suzanne. All right, Laura, why don't you share some of your quotes, please?
Oh, I think somebody was listening because I just saw an alert that someone asked to join the Dream Group.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Well, we have these, people do listening. Radio's a funny thing, Laura, that you really don't know if anybody's listening because you just kind of put it out there and, it's like, it's just out in the ethers. And we have this thing where we can tell about live streaming, who's listening on the live stream. And we often have a dozen or more people listening on the live stream. So I'm glad you're getting some bump to your group because it's a worthy cause, for sure. It's a worthy group.
Yes. Okay, so my quotes, the first one is, a dream is an opportunity to course correct.
Ooh.
And the other is, a dream is like a 7-layer dip. The top layer is the literal meaning, but keep digging for more gooey deliciousness with each layer. Go all the way to the bottom.
Where do these quotes come from?
Me.
You. The famous author, Laura Suzanne. Yes.
They actually happened when I was having discussions in the Dream Enthusiast group. Those just popped up. And, I think actually the first one, the course correct, is in my nightmare book.
Okay. Yeah. So that's, I love that. The course correct is, so this is something that I often have a question about, that most of the dreams that we have every night, we don't remember, because that's just the way the brain works. So there's something really helpful about dreams, even if we don't remember. Otherwise, we wouldn't keep having them. And yet, the dreams that we do remember, I always feel a big push from, and especially if I work with it, like with a coach or in a group, or even just talking to somebody else about it, it really helps me do the course correct thing. But it makes me wonder if maybe the dreams are in there nudging us along our course, correcting our course kind of subtly, even for the ones we don't remember.
I'm sure there's an aspect of that, and also it's a purging of the residue that we collect. It's a releasing of emotion. It's just so much can happen in the dream state. I feel it's unlimited what can happen.
Yeah. No, it's very powerful. So, yeah. And the 7-layer dip. I got to get down to that gooey deliciousness, huh?
Just keep on digging all the way down. Each layer has another surprise.
And they're different. Every layer is different.
Every layer is different, yeah. That just popped out one day when I was engaging with some of the more artistic members of the group. I think that's kind of sparked that creative, and it just came out. And I also do like 7-layer dip.
Yeah, so do you do art with your dreams? What other ways do you use to explore your dreams? Do you do art or journal?
I journal. Occasionally I will draw or paint a dream. I would like to get more into that. I went to Joanna Vidral's class at the convention, and it was the dream art collages. That was really fun, and I saw how really powerful that can be to make a collage of your dream.
Yeah, right. So even if you're taking someone's images, like from a magazine, that kind of a collage?
Yeah, it was so fun, and we cut out pictures of magazines and pasted them and made collages, and she has a page about that, and I follow, and it's very good for the creative process. It's and sometimes I will sketch or doodle my dream. Do you do that? Do you do dream art?
I do. I've gone through different phases. There was like a 2-year phase where I was sketching every other week or so, and I had these colorful drawings, and I have a pretty good stack of drawings, and a lot of them are on my walls. I do acrylics as well. I have a couple acrylic drawings, but those are much more involved, and there's more of a commitment. But I have this beautiful lion that I drew out of one of my dreams, which is like a real talisman. It really puts me in touch with the lion part of me that is revealed by that dream. So just picking, and I have another image of zebras. That's an enduring theme for me. My tribe, fierce, unrideable, the zebras. There's something you'll see on my webpage that I have highlight zebras, and I did a drawing about that. So there is definitely a way that art helps me. In fact, I'm contemplating doing a drawing of the one I've been working with the last month or so, which is kind of a nightmare. And sometimes I don't know if I want to have the nightmare on my wall for very long. But the thing about this nightmare is it transformed into something positive and beautiful. It started out very, I chopped my feet off. People who've been listening, I've been talking about this dream for weeks because it's still so intense for me. But then I step into this place where I see this man dancing, this naked, like a whirling dervish kind of thing, whirling. And I start falling into his orbit, and I start dancing, and then my feet are suddenly, it's just like, they're fine. It's like the trauma is healed. So I've been contemplating how to draw that kind of alchemy, that kind of transition where a nightmare turns into a beautiful dream.
That's great.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, I do find it that the images are helpful. And if I think in terms of images and drawing or sketching, I don't sketch my journal because I do an electronic journal, so I can't do like a little sketch in the margin like a lot of folks do. But I will take up a separate piece of paper and draw a sketch sometimes.
That would be good if you're feeling drawn to do that. And you were saying that you've been talking about this one dream for weeks. Well, you can spend a long time on a dream. You
Absolutely.
really can.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And then if it becomes part of your work, like the lion that I spoke over, the zebras, that this becomes like part of who I am in a way. When working a dream deeply really becomes like a totem or a spirit animal.
That's what's getting your attention right now. And you said you were hesitant to put it on your wall, but if it's transformative and inspiring...
That's true. That's true. That's a good point. It's interesting. That's a good point. Is there something that I have shame about my nightmares? That they're... Like, I'm not supposed to have nightmares anymore. Like, but of course we do. We always have things to unravel. I don't think I'm going to be done ever in this life. And it's part of the dance of being alive. It's not all, I'm not trying to get somewhere. But I want to continue evolving to be more satisfied and more inspired in my life. And there's going to be places where sticky things come up, and there might be a nightmare, something I need to unravel to help me go deeper.
The shadow self.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, we have a phone call on line 2. Yes. Okay, welcome to the Dream Journal. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Oh, great. Thanks for calling. Can you tell me your name and where you're calling from?
Hi, I'm Diane. I live in Santa Cruz.
Oh, hi, Diane. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Diane.
Yeah.
So I have a maybe nightmare that I've been wondering about.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes I have dreams with just words or images, and this dream I woke up from with just words. So there wasn't a storyline, but the words were that like 40% of the laws of physics had become rubber.
Mm.
And, wow.
When I woke up from the dream, in the dream I was very calm, but when I woke up from the dream, I started feeling a bit panicked because I was like, wow, well, I mean, if the universe works on the laws of physics, then what is happening with the universe? Like, what's going to happen?
Right.
So I found it very interesting, this contrast between the calmness in the dream, and this dream happened kind of during the peak of, I would say 10 days after George Floyd's tragic death.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, I was curious how I might go further with this dream, or what how you would work it.
Did I understand you to say, Diane, that in the dream you felt calm, but when you woke up you were kind of horrified by the... Is that what I...
Yes.
Panicked, yeah.
Panicked, uh-huh. Right.
That's interesting, Catherine, because you had mentioned you felt some anxiety at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And now we have a caller who is experiencing that same kind of feeling.
Right, perhaps. They're related. Well, what are the laws of physics to you, Diane? That's one way I might start. Like, what are the laws of physics? Is this something that...
Well,
yeah.
You think of one of the biggest laws is gravity. That keeps us, orbiting the sun, and the seasons going on, and keeps us walking around on the planet, not floating off.
Well, that would be pretty terrifying if gravity suddenly stopped working or changed in some way.
Diane, did you mention 40%?
Yeah, which was interesting. That it was like there was a specific number. It wasn't like less than half or more than. Yeah, it was very interesting. It was like 40%.
What does that mean to you?
That somehow someone had measured it.
Oh.
That somehow this was news.
Uh-huh. But I love that somebody actually had measured it in some way. So there's some science being applied here to this change in the laws of physics.
Yeah, it was like and also the word rubber. Like I felt a lot into that that noun or adjective, and I guess in this case it's an adjective, and it's like that they had become bendable, like not completely abandoned, but
right.
You know, I guess the thing is that also when I was thinking about the dream, there's a parallel between the law and then the law, how it's been applied, especially with regard to George Floyd.
That's true.
You know, that there were a lot of comparisons about how it was kind of stretched. The application was stretched in not good ways. So that's how I'm feeling about the word rubber.
Right.
You know, that laws of physics that you think are just like this. If there would be anything that I would think would be constant in the universe, it would be the laws of physics. And here I'm dreaming that they themselves have started to become not abiding. Somehow, something's not abiding by one.
Well, I have a something else that I'm curious about, Diane. Like, if you know, I've been doing a lot of dream work. Like, I know that you have done a lot of dream work and really been self-examining yourself. That maybe like the laws of physics in quotes have to do with kind of the rigid way I've been in the world, the way I think things are supposed to be. And if that's starting to shift because of all this introspection and self-awareness, that now it's not so black and white. It's not so. Good point. Yeah, it's not so well defined. Like maybe it's kind of scary to have something that's undefined now. Like maybe I don't get to have life on the rails that I thought was going to be there all along.
I have a question, Diane. Do you think that the rubber could be asking you to be more flexible?
Or maybe demonstrating that you are becoming more flexible already.
Maybe that's the aspect of the dream that's so calm in the dream. Because I found it intriguing how you said that the dream, the feelings in the dream versus the feelings upon waking give you insights into what is happening in the dream.
So much so.
Because, yeah, in the dream I was calm about it, and when I woke up I was kind of freaked. So that would indicate, yes, that probably it might have to do more with something becoming flexible in a natural way rather than in a forced way, or because of some injustice.
But it may be terrifying to the waking mind if the waking mind is used to those laws of physics not being rubbery, being very rigid.
Yeah.
Do you feel responsibility, Diane, when you woke up and felt that sense of panic? Do you feel like you're being called to do something?
To be aware, I think, is what I felt calling for.
Be aware. Okay.
Always a worthy calling.
Like, for instance, one of the things I find interesting, I always entertain the possibility of all things having consciousness, including the planet, the idea of Gaia. And, you know, if this was an experiment, albeit pretty painful one, it's really interesting to see how if we really make up our minds, we can really drop our carbon footprint. You know, so there's certain ways in which if it's viewed as not deterministic, like not evil or something, but this is something that we're having to go through. What are we learning by it? You know, we're learning a lot about our need to be connected to humans.
Yeah.
You know, I think by the fact that we need to be together, and the difficulty of social distancing, and also, you know, if we really put our minds to it, we can really drop our carbon footprint. So there's ways
I love
in
that.
Carbon footprint. Yeah. I mean, how many miles have we on our cars in the last 3 months?
Oh, so much less. I went 3 weeks without a fill-up. That's like, that never happens. But it's happening now, so it is possible to change, to be flexible, to maybe be bringing that rubberiness, maybe reduce our carbon output by 40% or down to 40%.
How do you feel right now, Diane?
I feel less shaken by the dream, more curious about it. more looking at myself about how maybe can be more, like rubber is not something it's not broken, it's just flexible. It's like giving, so it doesn't feel as freaky. So I appreciate working the dream with you both.
Well, thank you for calling in, Diane. I'm really glad that you did.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day and happy summer.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye
Always
now.
nice to be able to step back and be a passionate observer and look outside yourself.
Absolutely, yeah, and bringing in that curiosity is a really a good way to approach our dreams, with curiosity.
Yes, childlike wonderment.
So we have, I love that. So we have just about 2 minutes left. I wonder, Laura Suzanne, can you tell our folks, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Oh, well, you can go, if you want to join the group, it's on Facebook, it's Dream Enthusiasts. You can go to my website, inyourdreamsbooks.com, that's plural. You can go to my Facebook page, In Your Dreams by Laura Suzanne. You can email me at info@inyourdreamsbooks.com.
Okay.
Or you can go on Amazon, and my books are there as well as on my website if you're interested. And my guided journal is a gift to anybody in the world that wants one. So if you want one, just email me, and I'll send it to you on PDF.
Wonderful. Thank you, Laura.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with our listeners?
Just to keep dreaming, keep embracing your dreams, and keep exploring.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. Well, thanks. Take care, Laura Suzanne. I hope to see you again at another IAST conference at some point.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for having me as a guest today.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
So next week on the 4th of July, Independence Day, we're going to have a live call-in only show. So if you'd like to explore a dream like Diane did just now, or if you have some ideas about dreams or questions about dreams that you'd like to share with me, I would love to have you call in. So you can tune in live or catch the podcast replay.
Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you.
I am Catherine Bell, and this has been the Dream Journal. Thanks for listening. You can find out more about my dream coaching practice at experientialdreamwork.com. I offer private sessions, dream groups, and online classes. If you have a dream you're curious about, you're welcome to contact me for a free introductory dream consultation. In fact, I have another round of classes starting up on the first Monday of July, so you can go to my webpage or contact me by email to find out more about that. And my email is catherine@ksquid.org. That's KATHERINE@ksqd.org. Let me know if you have suggestions for interviews or topics or questions about a dream. I'd like to thank my program assistant, Max Deaton, and our creative musician, Rick Kleffel, who created, once again, a brand new original composition for our ambient music today. And many thanks to our call-in from Diane. And thank you to all the generous donors who support this station. K-Squid is 100% listener-supported, and donations are always welcome at ksqd.org. When you wake up tomorrow morning, take a minute to look within. Do you remember a dream? Write it down and bring it to the next Dream Journal. I am Catherine Bell, and you are listening to KSQD Santa Cruz.